Is it the revenge of crickets? Bill Thorpe?
Oh.
710 KNUS in Denver.
Hey, and on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. That was a surprise yesterday.
Wow.
And the way it happened. Okay.
I think Trump just made up a new job for her. It's kind of just sent Kristi Noem out to pasture a little bit.
And also, best line I heard yesterday commenting on it actually came from Jared Moskowitz, the Democrat, who said, what's the Shield of America? Sounds like something Trump made up after seeing the latest Avengers movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, it is something totally made
like.
up. It is. However, I got a question for you on this one before we get too deep into the Noem thing. Do you think the announcement on social media that Trump made was done tactically while Kristi was speaking? Because that's when it was released. It's like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Where was she speaking? She wasn't in the hearing, was she?
No. She was speaking to there was some group that she was speaking, and I don't remember if it is right before or as she's on stage, but it is released as she's either going up on stage to speak or while she's speaking. And the reason I ask tactically about that is it is obvious, based on social media and other things that you were seeing, that she doesn't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then it somewhat comes through later, or she just found out right before she gets on stage, because there are a couple of things. She's normally fairly buttoned up in the speech, and I heard some people saying that she made a couple of mistakes. So there may be something that she knew beforehand. But Trump, from what we've seen, Trump doesn't, for all of his claim about The Apprentice, wanting to turn to people and go, "You're fired.
You're fired."
He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
All of the stuff that we hear inside the writing that's come out of the administration is he lets somebody else be the bad guy. Like, you remember the Reince Priebus thing where he just left him on the tarmac? He's like, "Reince, yeah, you're governor here. Nope, sorry, you can't get on the plane and come back home. You got to go book a private flight."
I don't remember that.
He left Reince on the tarmac. And so, nope, sorry, I can't get on the government plane, been fired. Priebus tells in his in one of the books that he was talking to Trump as few as 10 minutes before that. And they were talking strategy. Trump doesn't mention a thing about being fired. And then when he shows up and tries to get on the plane, I'm like, no, Trump fired you. He's like, wait, I was just talking to him. I was just on the phone with him, and he didn't say anything. So I'm wondering about the tactics, and was this purposeful? And was this, in fact, if he did choose to do it before the speech, is this a form of public humiliation? I'm just curious, was any thinking and planning?
There's that.
Yeah, well, the thing is this. I want to know, did any thinking or planning go into the timing of the announcement? Or did no thinking or planning go into the timing of the announcement? Because if it did, then it absolutely was done in part to publicly humiliate her. If it wasn't, then I've got questions about the tactics and when you tried to announce when somebody's been fired. Either way, I've got a question.
Help me understand the public humiliation aspect, that Trump wanted to publicly humiliate her?
Yeah. That the idea of going out and fire her right before she goes and makes a public speech. Yeah. Puts it in an awkward situation. Because we're dissatisfied
said it happened while she was on
I said I'm not sure about the time. I'm not sure about the timing. It either happens while or it happens right before. I'm not sure of the exact timing, but it is close enough to ask some questions. And the reason, and that's why I mentioned about her making mistakes. I saw someone that was a commentator that said that she made a couple of mistakes in the speech, and normally she's much more polished. And they were wondering if she found out just before, because it started popping on social media while she is on stage. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know the timing of exactly when she stepped up on stage, and I don't know if she would have the opportunity to have seen it beforehand. I'm just going to, I don't know. I don't know the timeline. I'm just curious about if that was done purposefully or not. And if it wasn't, then I do have some questions about the tactic as well, knowing that she may be going up on stage soon. Is this the time in which we announce that you're fired? I'm just curious. Just curious about it, or was it just something that Trump had decided, and he decided to pull the trigger, and then everybody else had to play catch up? I don't know. I'm spitballing about this.
That's probably more what happened, but I mean, they clearly didn't have a behind closed door meeting, walk out, have the united front. Now Kristi Noem's going to do SHIELD. There was a clear, distinct separation there.
Yeah.
Right.
And the question then, why not? Yeah. Again, that's it. That's the tactics involved, and this is what I get into after break, is the tactics involved inside of this.
Around the advertisements, I think, are the most compelling, because there seems to be a bit of shadiness there.
Yeah.
And
so
we'll get into Joe Negus's grilling of Kristi Noem, which definitely raises questions, because if we're out there fighting all this fraud in Minnesota,
Yeah.
and there's fraud associated in some capacity with an advertisement client within DHS, well, it should be exposed.
Yeah.
100%.
And
Tired of taxpayer dollars being funneled to stupid causes in people's pockets.
And you can like or dislike Joe Neguse. I have things about him I like, things about him I dislike. But from recent history, I'm saying previous 12 to 15 months, when he's in these hearings, he's one of the better ones. He's prepared and he asks good questions. You don't have to agree with his questions. You can say he's being partisan, but rather than some of the oral gas some of those people pass, he's at least done homework. At least his staff has some stuff. He's asked some good questions. Agree or disagree with him on politics. I'm not saying any of you should vote for him ever. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying I appreciate that he, more than some, come prepared inside of those meetings. I appreciate it.
We've got a lot to cover today. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert will be joining us in the 7 o'clock hour. Matt Soper, State House Representative, I think the longest-serving current Republican down there, will be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. And then Jason Ganal, GQ Barbecue, going to show us how a real CEO founder eats the burger. We'll get into all this and more. Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. TGIF 35 with some drizzle, a little sleet here and there up and down the Front Range in Denver and beyond. 33 in the Springs, expecting highs in the upper 40s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning. For a new home heating and cooling system, contact your Lennox dealer. Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Our top story: police investigating an officer-involved shooting at an Englewood hospital. The Cherry Hills Village Police Department says an officer shot someone inside HCA Health One Swedish around 5:45 last night. No details about what led to the shooting or the condition of the suspect released.
Are you
Where
still
officials
running those
followed
ads?
the competitive bid process for
Are you
that.
still running
Everything
those ads?
I think the ads are due to end here in March, I think within a week or
So
two.
they
I'm
are
not sure of
still
the
running?
update. The one that is running is focusing on angel families. Have you seen that? It is the one that's talking about this is our why. This is why we work every day.
Okay.
Is for the angel
I've gotta
families
move
and their
on.
victims.
Kristi Noem and Senator John Kennedy. Noem is out as Homeland Security Secretary. She was fired by the president on Thursday, wasting $220 million of taxpayer money on commercials didn't help. Picked to replace her is Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. He still needs to be confirmed by the Senate, but Mullen says his plan is to build off things that didn't go as planned.
Regardless if you support me, if you don't support me, regardless of what your thoughts are, I'm here to enforce the policies that Congress passed. And right now I'm part of it, but once I make that transition, my focus is to keep the homeland secure. That's going to be my focus. And we're super excited about this opportunity.
The conflict in Iran is continuing, and with it, a growing sense of unease is building across the Middle East. Former CIA agent John Kirikow says there's a 100% chance that the Kurds will invade Iran. He was on Fox News last night.
I think it's probably the first. They likely couldn't make it all the way to Tehran without significant assistance from the United States, but I don't think that would be the goal. I think the goal would be to capture areas that historically have been Iranian Kurdistan and to draw the Revolutionary Guard out so that they would be that much easier to strike.
A congressional panel is investigating potential waste, fraud, and abuse in the state's Medicaid. The U.S. House Committee on Energy and Commerce is focusing its investigation on transportation services, autism therapy programs, and genetic testing, which they say are high risk for waste, fraud, and abuse. Colorado officials say They take fraud oversight seriously and are reviewing the inquiry. The committee set a deadline for Governor Polis to respond by March 17th. Authorities have identified a man found dead near Sabin Middle School in the Springs. Police say 28-year-old Patrick Stevenson was discovered Monday morning along a nearby path. Investigators say he had no connection to the school and there was no safety threat to students. The coroner says that it could take 8 to 11 weeks to determine the cause of death. Nearly half the states are suing to block 47's new tariffs, just weeks after the U.S. Supreme Court found his previous levies illegal. The lawsuit asked the U.S. Court of International Trade to stop implementation of the new tariffs, which the president is imposing based on a 1974 Trade Act law that's never been used before. Memorial service for the late Jesse Jackson is set for later today in Chicago. Former Presidents Obama, Clinton, and Biden expected to attend. Last night, the Nugs leading the Lakers 114 to 111 with 29 seconds to play.
10 to shoot, 27 seconds to go. One possession game. Jokic spins. Jokic scores.
That's beautiful. Jokic, another triple-double, 28 points, spins, drives to the basket, off the glass. Nuggets big win over the Lakers, 120-113 final. Avs at the Stars tonight. They go for 4 straight once again. 33 in the Springs, 35 in Denver, and welcome to winter in March. Finally, winter is here. Not that I cared. I didn't want winter to come, but now we have a little winter weather. That's the latest. I'm Blake Olson. More of the Jeff and Bill show ahead on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill show.
We await the next storm system to affect Colorado. It's coming into Idaho and northern Utah early today. Ahead of the system, it's going to be mild. Colorado Springs, Denver, and all points in between will see temperatures well above average in the middle to upper 60s. However, towards evening, we may actually see a few showers developing, and then overnight, some areas of rain and snow showers, and winds will swing around and come in from the north. As the system approaches, a cold surge comes down the front range, so temperatures will trend colder tonight, much colder tomorrow. Tomorrow, there's a chance of snow all up and down the I-25 corridor. We're looking at about 2 to 4 inches in most areas along the lower elevations. More could fall on the north end of the Palmer Divide between Denver and Colorado Springs and in the foothills. It'll be much colder tomorrow. Highs mid-30s, lows tomorrow night, low to mid-20s. Travel concerns developing tonight and Friday. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
.710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1 The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill show where you hear both sides. What a morning. as President Trump fires Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary, announcing plans to replace her with Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma, making him he's Native American. So we get Native American on President Trump's cabinet, concluding a long-building frustration. The New York Times reporting that Mrs. Noem had come to a head this week with her grilling by Republicans at congressional hearings. A lot of it has to do with this ad. Here's Kennedy talking about it.
I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly,
Did the president
worked
know
with
you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And one thing, Senator, I think would be helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
Well, they were
overwhelmingly
effective in your name recognition. I mean, I personally just, I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot. And and I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe, knowing the president as I do.
That's Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana grilling Kristi Noem over this ad. And then, so that's earlier this week. Then Reuters has a phone call with Trump. And this is the headline that comes from that. Trump tells Reuters he did not sign off on an ad campaign featuring Homeland Security Secretary. He told Reuters on Thursday that he had not signed off on a $220 million border security advertising campaign featuring Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who faced bipartisan criticism over the commercials during U.S. congressional hearings this week. And then it gets even deeper. It's not just that Trump didn't know about it, but there's some shadiness over who got the contract. And this is Colorado Congressman Joe Neguse.
Two of them were chosen. That's inaccurate, Madam Secretary. I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. Mm-hmm. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States. You identified 4. Mm-hmm. One of those is this Safe America Media company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. Mm-hmm. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll tell you about it.
According to
Madam
law,
Secretary, the
address
is registered to a political operative. Madam Secretary, the company, and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
Yes,
that $143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered, apparently, or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota. The reason why I ask these questions is that this is taxpayer money. And I presume, I don't know this for a fact, but Senator Tillis noted yesterday the way in which your agency is blocking the Inspector General from 11 different investigations that it is trying to conduct. I don't know if this happens to be one of them. I certainly hope it is, because eventually the facts will become public in this regard.
That's Joe Neguse, Congressman. He represents the Boulder area, grilling Kristi Noem on the transparency and the $143 million contract with a company that nobody had heard of, that had been incorporated 8 days previously. Now, I appreciate Joe Neguse diving into this. He should. This is taxpayer money. I wonder where he was on the Minnesota fraud, which was billions of dollars. You don't see the same feistiness coming from him.
Again, I don't know what
I
he did.
appreciate him doing it.
Well, here's
here.
the thing is, I don't know what he did inside of that hearing. I don't know if he did attack anything or if he didn't. I'm not certain that I can draw personally. You can draw a conclusion, but I don't have anything proving that Neguse did or did not do anything inside the Minnesota fraud hearings. I don't know. Haven't seen any videos, but the ones that I've seen, he does a good job with this one. But you don't have to vote for him.
Do you have the video?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is the actual video that everyone's worked up about. Let's play it for folks.
Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here, not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Kristi Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West, to the titans who built our cities, to the dreamers who chased the impossible, America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you. Break our laws, we'll punish you. Harm American citizens, there will be consequences. But if you come here the right way, your American dream can be as big as these endless skies. From President Trump and me, welcome home.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's weird.
Oh, really? Yeah, it is. It's very.
I've seen it in passing, and it's. I think in my mind, it was like a South Dakota.
Oh yeah.
Tourism video.
Oh, absolutely. It's like one of the tourism videos. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And the odd thing, and there's a part where Neguse is questioning. He's limited on time, but I would have suggested, rather than asking, and I understand why he's asking whether or not they've done any work with the federal government before, the real question is whether or not this company had produced any videos before. Yeah. What other previous work had they done that you based this recommendation and this purchase on?
And to get a contract that big? I used to run an ad agency, a $143 million contract?
Yeah, 8 days.
Are you kidding me?
8 days after you incorporated.
Right.
So you couldn't have had any prior work product to review, and if you did, what was it and with what company? And then why did they have to incorporate into a secondary company if they had done previous work on video production and producing marketing and ads? I understand why. Did they ever work at the federal government before? No. How about we start with step one? Have they ever made a video? They were incorporated 8 days ago. I doubt it. I think that's somewhat important in the conversation, but I'm not elected to anything and shouldn't be, so what do I know?
So, Kristi Noem out. Here's what I'd love to hear from our listeners. Did you appreciate the job she did? I mean, in some cases, the border shut down almost completely with regards to illegal immigrants. Do you applaud her for that good work? Do you give her a 10 out of 10? Do you think she had problems? Do you blame her for what happened in Minnesota? Do you think there was corruption there?
I've also I heard a lot of people cheering when these ads dropped the first time. This is great. We're telling the immigrants we're not taking no guff anymore. We're going to find you. We're going to, rah! I heard a lot of that when these things dropped. Y'all still feel that way? Are we still super hard charging about this being a great idea given what you've seen, what you've heard, and how it was funded? Are we as enthusiastic about these? Because I remember when they started dropping periodically on Fox News and elsewhere, we heard from some of the listeners on text and calls, they loved this. Why wasn't all of the Americans doing this? That we should be telling the illegals to go home. You know, had her whole thing about here, text this and go home. And
I do want to tell the illegals to go home. I don't have a problem with that. I thought the ad was kind of just weird. And then I'm not quite sure it was that effective. And then to some of their points during the hearing, it seemed like it was kind of this promotional effort more around Kristi Noem than effective at communicating. And then the cost is an issue too. So if we want illegal immigrants to go home, why not just do and this is your warning, leave America now. And that would have cost $50 to produce. And then you could have spent all the rest of the time to buy the airtime. So the cost, the effectiveness, the who the contracts went to and whether it was really just more about promoting Kristi Noem, and then Trump having enough, saying that he didn't approve the ad. So give us a call. Tell us what you thought happened here. And do you support President Trump doing it? Do you think Kristi Noem did a good job? And is this reform that you've been looking for with regards to the Department of Homeland Security? Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's talk Dan Caplis and Dan Caplis Law. If you want your case to be taken seriously, you should choose a law firm that is taken seriously. Dan Caplis Law is taken seriously. Dan Caplis Law is a real trial firm and proves the truth when the insurance carrier does not pay all that it should in an out-of-court settlement. Dan Caplis is the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 11 straight seven-figure jury verdicts, including a record $205 million jury verdict in a wrongful death case, the largest truck crash jury verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. They accept righteous injury and death cases on a percentage fee basis. There are no upfront fees and no charge for an initial consultation. Dan Caplis Law has offices in Denver, Greeley, Loveland, and Fort Collins. If you want your case to be taken seriously, call Dan at 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. Folks calling in to give us their grade on Kristi Noem's tenure as head of DHS. We want to hear from you next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We'll be back in a second. This is The Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show where you get both sides, and the headline's hot today. Trump ousting Noem as Homeland Security Secretary. She's getting a new job with the Shield of the Americas.
Yeah.
Special envoy.
It's out of the Avengers.
Shield of the Americas. What do you grade Kristi Noem's tenure? Bill, I'll go to you. Out of 10.
Oh, out of 10. Oh, man. Maybe a 4.5. Maybe 4.5. And part of it is border security down as far as not getting people across, but I'm not convinced how much she functionally had to do with that per se. That's why I'm not going to go over the top with her. Maybe 4.5. It's hard. I'm really kind of looking at more of a 4 because I think a lot of what she did was performative, and the times in which she had to step out and take the lead, she mucked it up and did so on a big way. And the ones that stick in my mind most are the shootings that happened in Minnesota. How she was out first at the front, describing the people in ways that were not tethered to reality. And I think that is a huge mistake for someone in that position. And I saw her, I think the most accurate critique that I felt I saw on social media is that she was just cosplay national security Barbie. That she was just going around dressing up in things and showing up at places in which she didn't. Like when she went and took a picture in front of the El Salvadoran prison gang members.
I love that. That's why I give her an 8.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I don't like the
stupid.
fraud around this ad, if there is fraud there, but I'm not a fan of that.
Well,
but no,
dumb
she was
picture.
tough. She was loyal to the president, all the libs jumping down the president on all these, from the El Salvadorian president to the border to Minnesota. She was loyal to the president, which was absolutely critical for that role. And she was tough. When I saw those pictures down in El Salvador, that's when I go, Trump got the right person here. She's tough. Absolutely walking down there in front of all those guys.
For a photo op in
it was
tough clothes.
Yeah,
that's my critique.
Awesome.
That's my critique. Cosplay Barbie.
No,
we're just dressing her up in little tiny things and putting her in front of things, and she's doing the dress up
of
thing.
a state. She's not just some Barbie.
No, but
Come on.
she wasn't the governor then. She
I know,
was
but
DHS
she's
Secretary,
a leader.
so now
she's
she
run
is.
things. She's been successful there. I disagree. At
I
the
can-
end of her tenure, though, it fell apart. I think the ad was probably the nail in the coffin here, and Trump was just done at that point. But
Yeah.
no, she's not just some Barbie figurehead.
I can critique her performance with DHS separate from the other stuff. I'm not lumping them all together. I'm critiquing her performance as DHS as a singular event and taking that in its totality. I give her barely a 4.5. I like the 4 Bohr, and yeah, 4 better, but I'll go 4.5 because I'm tired and feeling a bit generous. But yeah, I think that she just did dress-up play a whole bunch of times and was fairly ineffective. She was better as a governor.
Fairly ineffective. She oversaw the total shutdown of the border compared in 1 year.
That's why she got the
what
4.5.
Joe Biden had done with 10 million illegal immigrants crossing the border. And the fact she was able to shut it down within 1 year, keep Americans safe, go after fentanyl, all that stuff. There's a lot of credit there.
I never said that Biden was better, nor was Mayorkas better. I never said they were better. Didn't like Mayorkas either. I don't think I'd give him higher than a 4 either. I thought he was crap on it, in part because of how he had a total like no see, no tell opportunity with the border. Had no idea what was going on.
Yes, that is correct.
So absolutely horrible.
Well, that's a -5 for him. All right.
Yeah.
Iggy giving her a 7. Four Corner Steve. Kristi was a 10. And it was the employees who probably set up the ads. To me, she did a good job. What's wrong with the ads?
The fact the money went to a company that was incorporated 8 days prior, has no headquarters, no history of producing ads like this, and is connected to a Republican donor. Let's pretend. Let's say this was a Democrat administration that had a company that they spent $148 million with that was just incorporated days before and went to a high-profile Democrat operative. Would you sit there and go,
autism.
"What's wrong with it?"
Autism.
Would you say, "What's wrong with it?"
Right now. Yeah, no, and in the midst of all this fraud, I do appreciate the fact that Democrats have, are holding government accountable here. I'd just like to see it in other capacities, too.
Also, we had a conversation earlier about Neguse and Minnesota fraud. I can't find anything that disproves what you were saying about him being soft. So I can't say that you were wrong. So I don't know. Again, cannot find anything. So your comment still seems fair enough. I have nothing that disproves what you said earlier, so it's a fair comment.
Well, so a lot of it is around, thank you, a lot of it is around the ad that Kristi Noem and DHS put out. And let's play Kennedy's real quick, and then let's play the actual ad. So here's Kennedy, John Kennedy, Louisiana, Republican, not happy with the $200 million spent on this ad.
I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And one thing, Senator, I think would be helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
well, they
overwhelmingly
were effective in your name recognition. I mean, I personally just, I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot. And I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe, knowing the president as I do.
So that's John Kennedy, not happy with Kristi Noem spending $200 million on an ad. Here's the ad.
Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here, not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Kristi Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West, to the titans who built our cities, to the dreamers who chased the impossible, America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you. Break our laws, we'll punish you. Harm American citizens, there will be consequences. But if you come here the right way, your American dream can be as big as these endless skies. From President Trump and me, welcome home.
She's sitting on a horse, and I think she's in South Dakota, where she was governor at one point, in the filming of this commercial. And it comes across.
Yeah, Rushmore's behind her and stuff.
Is that Mount Rushmore?
Yeah,
okay.
It is. Yeah, and they did a staged cattle run too for her in part of it, where she's sitting there helping drive the cattle. So there was some staging. Still.
Yeah, well, that happens in advertisements.
Oh, I know, but I always love the staging of the things that I don't do regularly. I love that. It's like the every time you see the Democrat out there going, and I love to go duck hunting. No, you don't.
Yeah, right.
No, you don't.
They're all wearing orange.
Yeah,
and
none of
stuff
us
like
believe
that.
you. No, yeah.
And it comes across, if you just watched it on air, which I had seen prior to all of this hubbub, because it's just an advertisement.
Yeah.
Who knows? And so it looks like a South Dakota.
It does. Like tourism and
tourism.
Visit.
Thank you. Tourism advertisement.
Spend the weekend.
Right. Which they're doing a lot of these days. Because Colorado's in driving distance.
Yeah. Where we embrace the American lifestyle. Come to the roots of the history of the
Remember the Nebraska? Whoever came up with the Nebraska ad campaign that's not for everyone was brilliant.
Absolutely smart. Very, 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 very smart.
But that's what it looks like. And then you find out that they spent $200 million on it. And then 143 went to a company that formed 8 days prior to winning the contract. Here's Joe Neguse, the congressman.
Two of them were
That's
chosen.
inaccurate, Madam Secretary. I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States. You identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll tell you about it.
According to
Madam
law,
Secretary, the address is
officials.
registered to a political operative. Madam Secretary, the company, and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out.
Those are fair questions. Very fair questions with taxpayer dollars. I just wish Joe Negus would do that with the billions of dollars of fraud in other places. But fair questions out there. What do you give Kristi Noem's tenure? You had all this build up, and then Trump does a call with Reuters saying he never approved the ad. Never did. And then Kristi Noem gets fired. Was it all centered around this ad? How was she doing as Secretary of DHS? Lots of text messages coming in. A lot of the guys out there giving Kristi Noem high marks. A 10 from the bread man. Yeah. I think she was at an 8 with shutting down the border, with the El Salvadorian prisons, with TDA, going after all that. I thought she was fantastic. Minnesota, they surged. They pushed back up there and got the government to acquiesce on some of these sanctuary policies. I think that was good. I don't like some of this ad stuff. I think it could have been done a lot cheaper. I ran an ad agency. I pretty much did a lot of Republican advertising. That amount of money is wild. I mean, just for a second, think of Super Bowl ad spending, right? Which is like $12 million, I think, for an ad. And we're now $200 million? Now, and Billy, you and I were talking offline.
Yeah.
Imagine if she had walked to Congress and she had done a really simple ad that just did warning, illegal immigrants, leave America now. President Trump has provided you with a plane ticket home. Visit this address. And she goes, imagine she comes into Congress and she goes, we spent $50 on the ad and we have deported 200,000 people, or 200,000 people have self-deported. Holy cow. Could you imagine the high fives in that room?
And I've got to
that would have been amazing.
The other thing is I had to give credit to Marion, Wyoming, that called off air and reminded us that there is a mechanism to where the government could have gotten the first round of ads for free placed because they run them as public service announcements.
Yeah, that's right.
You run them as a PSA. This is what we're doing, and you make the announcement. Now you get a free ad spend. But that is not what Kristi Noem chose. And I'm curious if they even could have run this Noem ad and through the PSA. I'm wondering if they tried that, at least try to get some free advertising out of this.
Bill Armstrong used to say, I don't know what's going on, but I smell sulfur. So there's stuff here that just makes me go, I don't like it. Let's go to the phone lines. Marcus and Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning, guys. I got a different take. She's not weird. She'd be as weird as you two. But you got to imagine this. The government is going to be shutting down on the budget. And the Democrats in Washington wanted her out. And this is what I believe. They threw her under the bus, okay, so they could get some support from the Democrats on the budget. And that's the bottom line.
I imagine that was possibly part of the calculations at the end of there, because the government, as you mentioned, the government shut down over DHS. Can we give a little bit here? Now Republicans go into the negotiation room and go, all right, Noem's gone. Let's get this thing open again. But you're seeing Democrats go, it's not enough. It's not enough. I don't know how long that'll last, but in the negotiations, Marcus, it's an interesting point.
It's going to work. They got what they wanted, and I'm sure a bunch of the Democrats are going to come over and say, okay, here you go.
Marcus, we'll be watching that. I think that's a fair analysis. Thanks so much. Marcus from Aurora, his line's open. If you want to jump in, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Let's talk modern rugged leather. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you. That's why at Modern Rugged Leather, every bag handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather. Designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Each stitch, buckle, and strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty, because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. So whether it's the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Life's going to take you places, people. Make sure your bag keeps up. I take this around everywhere with me today. Everywhere I go. Yesterday I was at the library for hours, carrying my bag around, then into the car with the kids, and then back onto the ranch. Everywhere. Modern Rugged Leather goes with me. Shop the full collection. Find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. Bill, to Marcus's point, do you believe this was the pound of flesh Democrats were looking for in DHS funding negotiations, and at this point, they'd be willing to approve the money?
I'm skeptical because firing the secretary based on what the Democrats say the issues are does what? Because we're getting Senator Mark Wayne Mullen as the nominee, who, in my opinion, is just what would happen if Prime Energy Drink became a person. He's going to have to get into the hearings, and we'll have to see what happens. But I can't imagine that they're like, well, if you just replace this person, then we're all good. I questioned that one. And the only reason that I think Marcus might have a point is I do believe that the Democrats can be that obtuse strategically. Can they be that absolute set of morons that would just say, replace them, and then we good? Okay, that's fairly easy, especially inside of Trump world. He has kind of a rotating cast of characters around him anyway. I wouldn't put it past the Democrats to be that stupid. I hope not. I hope that that's not what they did to just say remove this person, but it absolutely could be true. They're idiots.
Leon in Colorado Springs texting in. Her number one job is the safety and security of this country, and she did a hell of a job on that. She gets an 8. And by the way, your show's starting to grow on me. Thanks, Leon.
Thank you. Oh, wait. Hang on. Wait. It sounds like we're some sort of mold or fungus. But that's me.
Yeah.
That's me, though. I'm the thing that you're like, I can't believe this ugly thing is still here, and it's getting bigger, and it's getting fuzzy. This is not good.
Speaking of growing things, mold and fungus, we got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
I had no right to be that good. Okay, AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. The silly stuff is next. It's the loser edition of You Choose the News. Hang on. We're right back. This is The Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show where you get both sides. Now is Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News Loser Edition.
Yes, it's that time of the week where we get to revisit those stories that both Jeff and Blake felt weren't worthy of our attention. It is the loser edition of You Choose the News.
You are one pathetic loser.
Loser! Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
The Losers Club.
Bunch of losers.
You're such a loser. You made me feel like a loser!
She's a loser.
You are such a loser.
Loser.
Yes, what an appropriate introduction for me, but no, we're not talking about my performance on the show. We're talking about America's favorite fake radio news game show. It's You Choose the News. You know how this works. Here are the stories that I have browsed the interwebs for just earlier this week. They're surprisingly easy to find because we do a lot of really stupid things. Then I give them even more ridiculous headlines so that we play this game show with you because nobody in charge is awake at this time and we are left completely unsupervised. As always, we need a fall guy. I mean, a partner in crime, a best buddy. That is Blake Olson's role here in the news department. Gentlemen, here are your returning choices. Headline number 1, controlled slippage. Headline number 2, sexiest bonus. Headline number 3, new stylist. And headline number 4, addicted to work. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Let's start with new stylist.
Hey, you seen a new stylist? I like that look. It is fire. That's what people were saying recently at a train station in Hong Kong. Just this week, a gentleman entered the train at a Hong Kong station and then set fire to his own hair. Yep. Incident occurred right around 9:42 in the morning. After setting his hair light, he went onto the train, and people at the station seemed unfazed by the incident. Passengers who witnessed the act did alert police and staff on the train. By the time they responded, he had left that train and boarded another train, presumably with his hair still on fire. Whereabouts remain unknown, but he should be pretty easy to spot in a crowd.
Sure,
just saying, how hard is it
to,
yeah, how hard is it to find that guy? Yeah, okay. Well, anyway. Okay, Blake, your choice. Controlled slippage, sexiest bonus, or addicted to work?
Sexiest bonus.
Yeah, sexiest bonus. We got the work. We got the music behind us. In Turkmenistan, they have authorized a one-time holiday payment of $3 for women. It's to celebrate all things that the women do, and so they're giving them a bonus just for the women.
$3.
Yeah, $3. Congratulations, ladies. Don't spend it all in one place. Controlled slippage, you're addicted to work.
Addicted to work.
Addicted to work. Some of the world's biggest tech companies want you to be addicted to your job. How are they doing this? They're putting in vending machines that stock both energy drinks and tobacco. You know those tobacco pouches, the Zins? Yeah. In order to get you addicted, those are free. You got to pay for the chips and the drinks, but they'll give you free tobacco. Because they think that improves your production.
Gets you energized and working more.
Yeah, that's great. Is that on the
Marco
health plan?
Rubio, too. All right,
we're out of time.
You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
We'll be right back.